you know, you've got to be well, anyway, I'm sorry. If you have 10 lots on, if you're taking off 80%, you've got to take off 8 lots. Okay? So in your MetaTrader platform, and I'm trying to think of I don't remember the dates offhand. I've covered this. I actually went over the scenario on, I think it was a Q&A video a couple of weeks ago. You'd have to close 8, 20% of course would be 2. What you have to understand in the software platform is exactly how your broker is going to close these positions off. So if you have a 10 lot on and you go into the market and let's say you're long, you've got to understand that if you go in and sell, you have to know, is that going to close part of this position or not? Sometimes it will do what's called a hedge, which means you're both long and short at the same time. The best thing to do is to call your broker and ask them directly. You want to ask them, how do I take off a partial position? If I have a 10 lot on, how do I take off 8? And they'll walk you through exactly how to do that. Next up, I watched your weekly wrap for September 8th, and I saw why you created the rectangles, but I didn't see how you created them. Also, I might have missed this in a previous daily video. Can you explain how to set the volumes like yours with the different colors and trend lines? I want to say thank you for the course and continued support. You're very, very welcome. Well, these rectangles are actually part of Ensign software. Okay, they're one of the reasons why I like Ensign is it has some of these different functions in it. So I draw this range in Ensign. I color it in this highlighted yellow format. It all happens automatically. Another way to do this, and I've done it this way in the past, is to just take a couple of horizontal lines and put the horizontal line here. What you can do to make it more obvious to you what this area is you could go in and make it dotted or dashed. When you put the line on, if you followed along with disc 2, when you put your line on the chart, it should bring up the properties window, and all you've got to do then is go into the properties and change it over so that it reflects what you want, whether dotted or dashed, or you can just go ahead and leave it solid. The rectangle, the rectangle's cool and all, but truly you don't need to have the rectangle on there. Using a couple of lines is just as effective, or using putting a note in a notebook. Okay, the sneak attack on September 13th occurred late in the New York session after the sweet spot that you discuss. Let's go down here. I don't remember this offhand, so I'm going to have to refresh my memory here. This one here. Yeah, this was about 7 o'clock at night. Okay, so is it correct to say that one should trade out of the sweet spot on excellent pattern setups? I wouldn't go so far as to say should trade. I would say you can trade, but as with everything, you got to be careful. When it's outside of the sweet spot hours, that's when the different Forex brokers can really mess you around. They can screw you over in terms of taking your stops. Moving the market 30 or 40 pips is not uncommon for a broker, especially when the market is quiet. So be very, very careful when you're outside of those times, and possibly placing a mental stop or some kind of alert would be better than just placing a stop in the marketplace. My question was with the next question now. My question was with regard to volume indicators and the general rules of thumb associated with the interaction of candle patterns and volume indicators. I'm still a bit confused with the interpretations. For example, during the daily trade video of September 14th, I think you mentioned something like closing down on higher volume is usually a good sign of a reversal. I want to stop right here, and this